All right, we're gonna try this again. Facebook is obviously a lot of mind with how their stuff works. So we did this on YouTube the other day and had pretty good luck with it. So um, this is what we're back to. Let me give you a quick overview. What some of them, like this gentleman, like to be a steward and hand out loan out units to guys who may be interested in getting into the hobby. And so he picks up radios where he can. He's a ham operator, so he does have ham gear. He has 11-meter gear, and he's very particular about who works on what. Um, I am fortunate enough to be the person taking care of all of his 11-meter equipment at this moment. Now, here's what happened. I've got another one of his 2000s sitting over to the side here, and what it was sent in for was initially find out what's wrong. Okay, yeah, sure, no problem. First one was a head case. We fixed it. The very first one we did for him came out perfect. We sent it back to him. He was happy as he could be. He sent us another one that was, well, second one was kind of a head case. And had been to several shops, to my understanding, at least a few. And it's not that anybody did anything wrong, but that radio had such a funky problem that you really had to think outside the box to be able to chase the problem it had. And I don't think that the lack of progress on the part of the other two technicians was that they weren't smart enough. I think it was a problem that was it was a goofy problem. It took me a while to explain it. So we got that 2000 going, much to his surprise. And every time we do one, he super duties it. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with what a super duty is, you can go to our webpage at www.409radios.com and check out the all the super duties. I mean, we do this modification on everything. Now, basically, what it is that we build a small modulator into your radio, which takes, let's say, like your 2000, which is a common one we do it to, and 2000 everybody loves, but 2000 is a lot like a Browning in the event that people like the sound of a Browning because it sounds like it's about ready to jump out of your receiver. You're talking to a guy who's talking on one. However, you don't realize if you look at that thing on a watt meter, it's pretty depressing. The radio in and of itself does not spit out a bunch of power. So, I mean, you're talking RMS 4-watt key, 6 watts of swing, whatever, and it can get tedious quickly. So here we got the second one done, and we sent it to him, and regrettably, it came back a slight issue. So we took care of it, and I wish I could see who's watching. It says there's two people up there. Well, let me click on it. I hate this thing. Let me go back to my stream. I'll see if there's anywhere that I can probably do so. If any of the two people that are watching, send me a message of some kind. Let me know that I can get a message. Expand. Let me go to the studio. Okay, I hate all these computers. Let's see. Participants. Oh, let's try it like this. Pop out chat. There we go. Oh, that's useless too. I can work on your radio, but I can't tell you on on air how to make it make it work. Here, post to Facebook. Let's have some fun. Just spell the name. Okay. Well, now let me get back here. I had too much going on with this damn screen. Okay, now to the radio. They had the RF power I discovered after, or back to the other radio. It got sent back, and when it got sent back, in the beginning, we were building these radios with, all we were doing was putting an RM Italy AD 203 board in the bottom of the 2000, put a 30 amp power supply in the speaker, and you didn't lose the speaker, and it made a nice 60, 80 watts, so, about 20 watts RMS. It was nice. Then we decided to start building our own boards because of the pandemic, this and that. We couldn't get the other ones. And this is what we came up with. This is our new Super Duty 2 board. And what it is a single 2SC 2290 hand built right here in the shop. Anybody who buys one of these conversions, it is guaranteed for life. So you bust it, I fix it. As long as I got a pulse and you're the original owner. So what we've done now is there was a video and you saw us turn the 2 gang clarifier into a single 10 turn. And that's when we ran into the issue discovering that the squelch had been removed and turned into the AM power control. Guys, there are certain things you do not take out of a radio. You don't ever take out the mic gain, and you never take the volume out, obviously. Squelch and RF gain, those should never be touched. Those should always be in there. You use them from time to time, whether you realize it or not. So leave them alone. Do it on tone controls. Do it on, modes. You can't. You can move mode switches, but you can't eliminate them. So what we try to do is, this is the second one like this we built. What we did on the other one was we put the 10 turn here. We took the one that was a double here and we moved it here. The tone function got wired to the top, and then we wired the AM power regulator around, and the big bottom one ended up being this AM power. We're going to do the same thing to this one right now. Okay, and we're going to show you how we did it. Pretty easy. Wire a little bit of wiring, a little bit of smarts, a little bit of luck. So go light on the subject. Get on the side of the radio. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to crack its tone control loose, and to no surprise, it's got a wire busted off of it. So that's going to make life for that a lot easier. Tone control is only a 2-wire deal. Love getting these knobs out of here. Oh, sorry guys, you can't see much where I'm at. There we go. All right, so we're going to pop our tone control out. Pop our tone control out. Put this over. Now, here's our original tone control, and you see it's got a wire busted off of it. Here is our double clarifier from yesterday. Now, remember, one sticking out the very top is the back gang. The bottom one is the middle gang. Okay, this one is a 20K and a 1K. The 1K is going to control our tone. Okay, so since those wires are laying here, we're going to go ahead and wire those up. Right. And one of them's already busted out. That one's just like that. So, bam. What's in there? I want. This is the kind of stuff that happens when guys go ahead and subtracting and doing this and that, and they aren't careful about how you pull on these harnesses. There are places in here, guys, you don't stick your hands to hold the wire to strip the end of it. You stick your pliers in there and you hold the damn wire because your hand's too big. It's a little trick. Keep 2 sets of needle nose wrong. And always tin the wires you're going to be resoldering. Always, always, always. All right, so now. We're going to put that wire on the middle. So. Boom, done. Our tone is back. Now he'll be able to adjust as a tone. We're right there. Now, they had some pretty bogus wire in here, ran for that AM power regulator. So I'm going to show you the way we do it here. You take the control out, of course. Oh, what happened to my wire? There we go. You take the control out, of course. I hate this light, I always get it my way. And power regulator gets wired right in there. All right. It's 3 wires. It's a potentiometer. It's a mini one of these. You jerk it out of the board, and then what we're going to do is we're going to run them around, not across the board. We're going to bring them down natural harness around in here because when we tie all this up, we want it nice and neat. And we're going to hook it to the second gang. We're going to run it 1 wire at a time. Or we're going to run it 3 wires at a time. So we need to know how long the first one's going to be. Roughly, I'm going to guess like that. Give it an inch roll up. I need 3 of them. Now, when you wire these up, I mean, you time to mark which way is up, which way is down, so that you don't accidentally get it backwards, this and that. Honestly, it doesn't make a big deal. Hook it up. Just know that the wiper is where it's supposed to be. The other 2 are not going in the direction you want them to go into. You just switch them around. It ain't rocket science. You spend 20 minutes marking which is which, and I got too many radios going in and out of here to be playing that game. So here we go. I'm going to turn this back up. This is going to be our wiper. This is actually going to be the part of the control adjusting. Tin it. Tin it. Damn light. There we go. So we tinned it. We know this is the center wiper for the RF power control. Now we know it's going to go this way. We know it's going to go through this hole. You know, we're not going to put that through all. These are pretty thick, so we're gonna go on like this and wrap these. Bam, bam. Bring it around. There's our center wiper. And I'll fight with wires to put them in position. Really, my vice up here, but my life a lot easier. I like to fight with position. You always tin. I can't say it enough. Tin your stuff before you go soldering stuff together. Center conductor, the wiper around here was right here. Hope you can see that. Flow the whole landing, so the whole landing's got a good. See, now you didn't get a good shot. Here, let's go like this so you get a better shot of the whole thing. So, all right, so here's our wiper. It's been put in. It's the wiper over here. So now, these are two outsides. As soon as I figure out how did I lose a pair of strippers that I just had in my hand. Sometimes I think my bench just eats stuff. Oh. Seriously? Sorry, guys. I've got too much laying around and not enough eyeball to keep eyes on all. Okay, here we go. So, once again, these have already been tinned. These have already been tinned in the radio. Okay, there's a nice shot. Now, so what we do is, these have already been tinned on the potentiometer. We're hooking it to the bottom gang. So I put a little strip on the wire. Sit still for a minute. I'm going to tin the edge of this wire. So it sticks nice and quickly. Solder is not about heating and binding like welding. Solder is about flowing. So I'm going to solder this guy in here. Solder is about flowing. And if it don't shine, it ain't right. Come around, kaboom. I'm going to let you come around, choose something you do. It'll be about that long. Now this is 16 gauge wire. The reason we use 16 gauge wire is because you're taking the control, which is not a lot of current, okay? But when you add the length of the wire, you, of course, in resistance, lose voltage or current sometimes. So one side of our control, one more to go. Wire. I don't know how about it is. You know, sometimes you always have good luck. You turn out good radios, and then every now and then you get reminded that shit happens. The same customer sent me a radio that died on the bench, and we have we've come up with an agreement to make them whole. But the point is, I'm lucky he still trusts me. We're not, you know what happened wasn't my fault. We take radios very seriously around here. When you send it to us, we try not to send them back worse than you send them in. Although once in a while it happens. So he donated the radio for science, which means I gut it and put something worthy in it and build another custom radio out of it. So, and I'm sending him one of my custom built jobs as a thank you. All right, that's it. So AM power is in. At that point, we should be able to control tone and AM power all in the same set of controls without drilling extras in the radio. So now let's bring it up. Flip you around, you can see the scope. Fire the scope up, it'll be upside down, but you can see it. What's happening here? Am I losing? Yeah, this is all going goofy. Okay, I got too many plugs. Too many plugs and none of the places to put them. Oh no, did I lose you guys? Please tell me when I turn this monitor back on. You're still there. Yeah, you're still there. I can see on the other monitor. Okay. So now, let's set this where we can, I'm going to set it out. Okay, so I can let this control dangle. Now, what we're going to do is, we're going to see what this bad dude does. I should be able to turn the AM carrier up and down from what used to be the coarse control on that clarifier. Right now we have it in the I'm turning around there. Not getting any adjustment of that. I wonder if this control is any good. Really no adjustment at all. Oh. Huh. Well, let's try a different pot. First of all, let's try this. Check each side of the pot. See if we can make it. No, we're not getting a jump. Something's going to be in the glass. That should have been middle, one side, left side, so it's all the way down. There we go. Now we're on the wrong mode. So let's look at the scope. Watt meter says about 1/8 of a watt. But now, as we turn the big control up, it turns our carrier up and down. So now that works. So now before we do anything else, we're going to kill this thing and get it in the panel before we have any issues with placement. You know, we always want to be training our wires while we are assembling the unit. And sometimes you just gotta, undo some shit that they did. Right now we got a zip tie in our way. Never worry about cutting zip ties. Keep hundreds of them around. They've got it zip tied the way it was built. Well, a lot of times we're rebuilding them. A lot of times they ain't going back the way you took it apart. So wires will be pointing in a different direction. This and that maybe needs to be a little bit longer. You don't want to add a 3-inch pigtail when you can cut the damn cut the zip tie off. Go ahead and pull you some length out and then re-zip tie everything later, which is usually what we do. Just pull all the length out you can. Well, like on this one, the one thing I don't agree with what they did by putting the RF power control on the squelch. Adding a non-essential feature for something that it basically is an essential feature. Volume, squelch, mic gain, RF gain, clarifiers. Just never try to mess with them. Whatever you add or subtract from a radio, those items should remain and be stable. Okay, so now what we've done is we put the control back in front of the radio. And now we can go probably watt meter. Actually, I'll show you. They say you're going to be upside down. But first thing we're going to do is, we didn't drill any extra holes. And we didn't really do much. We're repurposing the old the old clarifier control. So now he still has nice Cobra knobs. Of course, once it needs a bath, but once you glance at this, it's not gonna be obvious to you that. Let's see, is the scope real good? Trying to see the watt meter. There you are. So there's a watt meter. And I'm not plugged into it. Okay. There's our watt meter. There we go. Now you'll see. Let's turn it off. And we can bring it up and down. See if we can get the scope and the watt meter. If you watch them both, there's our carrier. Okay. So now what we've done is, since he's getting the Super Duty to convert on this thing, we first had to make it healthy again. This radio had a lot, and I mean a lot of modification done to it that I don't believe was necessary. I think at some point maybe there was an NPC mod added to it and not completely removed. The meters on this one were stuck. The counter was wonky. Mic gain didn't work. There were miscellaneous wires ran. Whatever that is, wait. Miscellaneous wires ran here. Basically, we took it. He sent it to. He opened up. He looked inside. He used to do a lot of this work. He looked inside. He called me. He says 409. I can't. I don't even want to stick my fingers in it. Send it straight to you. So he sent it here, and I opened it up. And when I got done laughing, I called him. I said, George, what did you send me? He goes, well, how bad is it? And I told him, we could fix it. So we straightened it. I told him, if we can straighten it out, what do you want to do with it? He always likes our Super Duty conversion. So back to that. Now at this point, aside from a final alignment, we now have a functional frequency counter that also counts seconds on the clock. I'm gonna have to check that too before I set it to him. What'll happen is that excuse me a minute for more phones. This is a drug dealer one. Same guy. He's gonna have to wait. Why is it? Okay, I'm gonna have to change another display. All right, here I'm gonna show you guys something. I just now noticed this. Now I'm noticing another problem with this radio. Normally, let me show you my 2000. I have to bend some stuff here. You know what the hell with it? I'm just gonna take this off. On my 2000, on my Super Duty 2, I need more leash on everything. There we go. On my Super Duty 2, which is right here. Okay. When you set the clock, when you turn it on, when you push that button and let it go, see how the seconds start counting. Well, I just now noticed that on this one, for some reason, that function is not taking off. While it is displaying, I know it might be here. Make sure that all there we go. All these buttons on this radio drive you wonky. So now, let's get back to him. And yes, it does work fine. He's got counting seconds on his clock when the radio is shut off. Okay. So it just makes the display look a lot nicer. The counter's been rebuilt. reads pretty accurately. And we now have a 10-turn counter on the open clarifier to keep stable. Now, the next thing that's going to happen is we're going to channel this guy. Okay. We've got it where we want it on 40 channels. Okay. Top to bottom. Now we can start adding the goods. We've got rid of all the rot that wasn't supposed to be, or anything that was not supposed to be done is gone. So now we can get down to business, which means the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to pop channels in it. And then after that, we're going to finish assembling his Super Duty 2 module. We have yet to put the relays on this one. And now when this is all done, the module is going to sit right there. Okay. You're never going to know what's in there. However, right here, you're going to be able to turn it off and on. So when this switch is on CB, when I'm done, the radio will be putting out the antenna jack, regular CB power. When you flip this switch on, right now, my Super Duty 2 is doing about 90. The other one like this that I built for this gentleman is doing 101. And that's all PEP. Now let's talk RMS real power. With 11 watts or with 6 watts of RMS from my Galaxy or from my Cobra 2000, I am getting 38 to 42 watts of RMS out of this transistor. So the RM Italy board does 18 watts of RMS and about 80 watts of swing. Plus, they don't guarantee these for life. I do. North Star, what's up, Bubba? I just saw you're up there. Good day to you. Hope you're staying safe. So yeah, there it is. That's the new Super Duty 2 module. We just built this one for this radio. One like this is just in my radio and a 142, couple realistics. These guys are buying these things and putting them in whatever I can stick them in, which is a lot. So here, when we're done, this guy's going to be right here. And I'll show you how we're going to power it. Okay. Right now, we're going to do the traditional Cobra 2000 channel kit, which is lowers on this A&L switch, one set of uppers on the MB switch, another set of uppers with a both flip, and then regular position of both. Actually, they'll both be off. So let's do that. Most guys will pull that switch panel out and they will pull it out, pull around on it. Wires go back and forth. When you're talking about, 30-plus-year-old radio, of course, you don't want to go in and just get willy-nilly with it and pulling this and pulling that. So I've come up with a method where I can do all the modifications on this board without ever taking it out. Now, some guys will say, well, use an X-Acto knife. Well, yeah, okay. X-Acto knives are all right for about the first 2-3 cuts on copper. And then, they're not very reliable. So I'm going to show you what I do. It's very easy. If you're careful, it's just fine. If you're a rammy and you're not, if you're one of those guys that rip the screws out and go to put your tweaker in one coil and end up putting it in another coil and turning that one instead because you weren't watching, this method is probably not for you. But I'm going to show you the way we do it here. Okay. First ring. Man, did I just do that? See, and pay attention to what you're doing, obviously. I just went and got the zip tie, tried to train these AM power regulator wires and didn't put them in there. So, let's do this again. Now, of course, there'll be a lot more zip ties when I'm done. Right now, I'm just training these out of my way. Now, along the way, things have been put in this radio and removed, which means along the way, I've been finding a lot of wires that were cut and just left. I mean, not even isolated. Rule of thumb, guys, if you're new at tinkering, rule number 1, don't tinker on the shit you guys talk on. Because when you blow it up, all your buddies are going to know about it. Keep a radio to talk on. Then get you a radio to tinker with. Okay. Don't take your nice radio that you talk on every day and make it an experiment, because odds are the first time you're not going to build, uh, you know, something that's going to tear somebody's head off. You're going to build a pile of parts that are going to go up in flames. You will waste more money learning how to build stuff or to come up with a board. Like take, for instance, these boards, these Super Duty boards. You know, the RML is a 4 MOSFET transistor amplifier. That's a temporary, just keep those over. It's a 4 MOSFET transistor amplifier. It does do well on swing, doesn't get hot. But like I said, it's 18 watts of real power, and it's just not, it's nicer, but it's not as nice as what we came up with. And I don't have to call Italy to order them. So here we go. So now we have a 10-turn counter. 10-turn counter is installed. Converted from a dual to one. We took that gang, put it over here. It now has tone where the tone control was, and AM power. Okay. So now we're going to get to the channels. Okay. Now, this is our board. Let's see if I can get you guys closer. Yeah, it's a little too close. Smell my breath on it. All right. That's what you're working with. An MB87 and MB8719 chip is the original chip that was released in the Cobra 2000 148s. Several other radios. And the cool thing is that it can be channeled. It can be manipulated. It can be, the reference can be switched on it just by grounding pins. Okay. That's the way OPLL circuits used to work. Something was either grounded or it wasn't, or it was hot or it wasn't, up or down, high or low. That's logic. I don't know a ton about it. Fart that just knows how to make radios talk, but I do know that it's important to understand enough about it to know what not to do with it. Okay. I believe I've lost my first brand new set of glasses. My wife just went and bought me. So we'll grab a pair of these. Where's the bag? Hell, I'll grab a pair out of the bag. Let me find us another pair of twos. Whole 409 is getting blind, people. I'm going to tell you something. That's a bitch. I hate being blind. I was ugly to begin with, but now I'm ugly and blind. All right. So, channels. When we're done, this radio is going to go from 2680, 150 all the way up to 28045 with 4 different options. Now we're going to start playing with PLL circuits, so make sure you unplug it. Okay, here's the bottom of our 8719 chip. Pin 10 in a Cobra 2000 is isolated because it has an 1132 crystal as a reference. If you see a Cobra 2000 with an MB8734 chip, you will notice that pin 10 is grounded and it has an 1111 crystal in that spot. Now, does it make that radio unchannelable? No. You change the 1111 to 1132, you get an MB8719, and you isolate pin 10, and you put it in. That's what's been done with this one, but they did some circuit damage. So I'm going to do some cleanup and make sure, you have to bear with me for a second, make sure this guy ain't never had no problems with this. See. And here's another thing, another little piece of wire that just wasn't removed. Get it out of there. Now here, to repair, I'm going to show you guys how to repair a trace. A lot of these traces have been cut. Okay. If you look, now if you look towards the top of your screen, count from left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see that trace that's been cut and the one's been repaired next to it? Okay, it's a pretty wide gap. So I'm going to show you guys how to fix that. It's very simple. Just bridge it. Bridge it with a very thin piece of wire. You don't need a piece of freaking 12 gauge in there. You just need a couple of strands for some thin wire. You want something the solder to adhere to when it's going across the crack on the board. Okay? I just like to find the thinnest wire I got laying on the bench and strip a piece. And what do you do first, class? Tin the wire. You guys that haven't learned how to solder yet, you know, you can know everything about electronics in the world. You can't put it all together. It's just a pile of parts. Soldering is kind of like being a porn star. You got something to swing with. You ain't got nothing to swing with. You might as well stay out of the arena. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to tin this. Lose our stuff. Jesus, model. How much stuff can I lose today? Solder. I only got a pound roll of it later. All right, it's time to regroup. We definitely got more going on at one time than we intend to. We're moving stuff. We're losing stuff. What the hell? Did it fall? Welcome to the world of live TV. This is the 409 channel of how to take forever to work on a radio because you have to look for your shit. Spend more time looking for your shit than you do actually using it. So we got the wire tinned. This is a short bridge. So tin your wire. Take your needle nose. Bend that about as wide as it's going to be. Then we're going to come down to where these two go. My hands in the way. Let me see if I can give you a better view of that. Lay this guy in there. Do not bridge to the other pins to the left or the right. We get the one going backwards solid. See, now that's in there. And let me cut this out. There's a proper repair. That'll never break. When you glob solder until it runs over to the other side, and when you glob it in there until it runs over to the other side and they just touch each other, you don't have any structure in between it all. It's not going to work properly. It's going to crack. It's going to break later on. Okay, so now to channel this radio, you need 2 switches and 3 pieces of wire. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to scavenge out of an old 2000. Three pieces of wire. Now, you're only going to tap with this traditional conversion. You're only going to tap 2 of the pins on the circuit, on the integrated circuit, on the 8719. Pin 10 and pin 9. Okay. Sitting the way they sit in the radio normally will give you regular channels. Flipping them to ground in different sequences is going to flip it around to the different channels. Okay. Now, what I like to do with these, because it's just a lot neater when I can, is go to an old 2000 and pull a multi-conductor out of it, like one of these. You know what I'm saying? Now, we only need 2. We need 3, and this one has 3. This one has a red, a white, and a shield. We need 2 wires to throw ground and a shield reference. So this wire is going to work perfect for us, provided it will reach the switches, and it will. So when you get your wires, you strip them, you spin them. Some of these are small enough that the old fingernails do just a good job. It's like that. Now, tin them. Now, the thing about tapping a PLL chip, you do not want 5 miles of wire rolling around at the point of contact. Okay, we're going to solder these, we're going to tin these, and we're going to cut them off little nubbies because they don't need to be this long. Heat makes things move around. Cold makes things move around. So now, knowing what I know about the 2000, I'm going to make this quick for you. Okay. Pin 10, pin 9 ground. That's what we need. So I'm going to very carefully tap pin 10. And then I'm going to tap pin 9, keeping in mind that it still needs to be isolated from the rest of the radio. Done. Oh, it almost stopped. Take your time and go slow. And then take this guy over the ground. Real simple. As far over as you can. I usually like right over in here somewhere. So that where it's laying, it's also laying across the ground trace. There we go. All right, now our channels are tapped at the PLL. We're going to roll this way. Bring it through this hole. We're going to bring it over here. Now we're going to use NBANL and NB. The first one is the speakers. So when these are on, which is what we normally want, when these switches are up on top, they're down here. So 1, 2, 3 switch over we're going to start with. So in normal operation, when we want this on, this switch is up, which means I already tell you, these two are going to be grounded. But now the problem is this trace loops back to something else. So what we've got to do is we're going to have to jump her through there. I'll explain that when it happens. So what needs to happen is for this is we're going to take a Dremel. We're going to go zip, zip. We're going to cut these two out. We're going to cut this one off. Okay. And then we're going to bridge. We're going to bridge these two right here. And that's going to be in the on position. Okay. So using a Dremel and being very careful. I don't recommend this for rookies. Perfect. Basically, what you've done at this point is totally isolated the switch from the rest of the board. Now, we've got to tell the board that that switch is in a certain position still. Like I said, when these are in the up position or on top, it's the lower pins on the bottom that get connected. So if we trace the ones we cut, this one comes down to here, this one comes down to here. We're going to bridge those two. That switch, as far as the radio is concerned, will be on. The radio thinks you got the NB switch turned on. That's all it knows. Okay. That's proper modification. Don't change something so drastically that the radio has to go, what am I looking at? Once you've done that, you've gone past repair and modification, and you've gone into re-engineering. And that's, I don't know if that's your thing. It's not my thing. I ain't got no time for engineering. I did all that when I was young. All right. So now we know that these two are got to be put together down here. Once again, make a bridge, tin it, lay it in there, flow it. Our A&L is now constantly on. Now there's a cool thing about this next switch. There's no bridging. When the NB is on, it actually opens the circuit. So really all we're going to do is, when the NB is on, these two are closed. When it's off, these two are closed. So we want it on, we want those open. All we're going to do is saw the switch out of circuit. We're not going to mess with nothing else. Because once we saw the switch out of the circuit, the radio, as far as radio is concerned, the switch will always be on. There. And I just busted my Dremel. Good thing for extra bits. Okay, so now we've got our switches set where they're going to live. So now we're going to bring this guy up through the hole, train it, so we can trade it with the rest of the wires. It's going to come up here. Okay. Now, I remember. This comes around here, goes through here. We do have to run an extra wire from here to the other side of where we broke that connection. I do remember that now. So if you're not very good at reading traces and figuring out circuits from, looking at it, tracing it out, practice on something that you don't know anything about. All right, so because we sawed this trace off here, it comes around to here. We're going to have to make a tap here. And then where we sawed everything completely out, it's going to have to come down here. And that'll give us a proper... Then, once again, the radio has to think nothing's been changed. Okay, so what we're going to do is... we're going to go from here, where it comes on this switch. Okay. Now, if we follow our roadmap, it comes over. Oh, I hit the wrong one. I should have to be way over here. Duh. Once again, pay attention. So we follow the roadmap. It comes this way, wraps around, goes through the switch that we cut out of line, comes down, and goes to this circuit. So we got to connect that there. And then that will keep that circuit that we cut out of the loop intact. Once again, the radio doesn't know any better. So now everything that we cut out is intact in a manner that the radio thinks it's in the mode it wants to be. And now we have two open switches. So first, over here, we're going to run a ground wire to the middle of both sets of switches. Okay. Because all we're doing is throwing these pins to ground. Now, are there ways to get a lot more channels out of this radio, guys? Ask me. Yes, there is. How much do you want to spend and how stable do you want the radio to be? Because when you start taking something that was only made for 40, actually this was made for the band we're putting in it right now, and a little more. But when you get beyond that, I mean, I've seen guys have these things go down to 25.75 and up to 29.20, and on each end there's no power. So you stay within the radio's arena, at least. Okay, so centers, and I forgot we got that little stupid ass solder. All right, so I'm going to tin my ground. I'm going to bond my reference for my centers. Okay. Now, I want this guy. And remember, solder's about flowing. If it doesn't flow and it doesn't stick, I see this is a bad side of the switch. Try that out. We're going to do this. Man, but that's going to make it hard for me. All right, we're going to use the other side of the switch. That side's just been overheated. It won't take any solder. So rather than mess with it, go to the other side. The switch is a double pole, double throw switch. Now, what that means is there's two switches in here, and each one will do two functions. It's a double throw. Oh, no wonder. Get a good connection on that. And then you're going to do some fancy plumbing work. I'm going to pull this up. I'm not breaking it, but I just felt it move, so we're going to resolder it. And then this is going to come over. And go down there. That's going to bond the two switches with the ground wire. When you flip the switch, it will throw the negative pulse to the chip through this cable we put in. So now we've got a pair of switches bonded. Now I left this extra wire over here on purpose. Turn around. Now, on channels, when your channels are off, your switches should be down. So when your switches are down, you're using the top set of pins. So I want the first one to turn on my lowers, which is pin 10, which has the white wire. So I'm going to go over here, strip pin 10, or strip the white wire. And hopefully get it to the other side of the switch. Even this board was a little gnarly. Oh, might come out all right. Nice. Now this other one comes over to the other switch and becomes our toggled upper. So once again, clean your tip, strip your wire, tin your wire. Now, this ain't the prettiest one I've ever done, but we'll just say it gives it some character. Considering this radio's dead when it got here. When I say dead, folks, I mean dead. As a doornail. See, my white one didn't stick very well. Gotta go back. Oh, that's nice. Maybe do the white one like that one. That white one is just in an awkward position because it's brown. And my headset's hitting the light. Let's get some more solder on that switch. You got to be solder on both sides of where you're soldering to, or nothing will flow. It's not about melting together, it's about flowing together. Now, I'm thinking what I'm thinking, and I'm usually thinking what I'm thinking. This radio should now go from 2681 to 28045. Let's get this out of here. We're going to lay this in here because we're going to tie it down later. And the cool thing is we pulled this cable out of another Cobra radio, so it kind of looks like it belongs. And we do that a lot. We try to repurpose a lot of stuff. I mean, quite honestly, I can't just call a Cobra store and order cables anymore. I already know they work. All right. Now, it looks like on this one, we're a little bit backwards. So, let's start. Let's get this up here. Let's turn this down and get where we can see all the switches. At least those two. No, I can't see all the damn digits. That's 50. Now, regular channels. 19 is 271850, right? So let's start with the lowers. Flip it. Oh, start with the lowers. Flip it. We're down to 2686. It's going to go all the way on down. $26.83. Now, when you turn both of them on, it's your middle set of uppers, which actually catches at starts at 2760. Now, with both of them down, this will take you all the way up to, see, there's your channel 50 that everybody uses. But this one will take you clean up to 2772, and then you flip them both. Or then you flip just the one. And that one I guess this one's stopping at 72. $27.72. Oh, we got to adjust the VCO. It's stuck on 72. Okay. When you see that happen, I hear watch. See how it's counting? All right. But then you're going to notice when it hits 72, it's going to stop. See there? That's because the voltage control oscillator, which is this guy right here, is going to have to be realigned to accommodate the radio protection channels. But the two switches are in. Now we have channels. So now he's got channels. Now he's got 10-turn clarifier. He's got tone, AM power. He's got a squelch back. He's got his meters working. He's got his seconds and his counters, clock fix. Got his power supply repair. Got his modulation repair. Now I have a radio I can work with. At this point, I can stop with the radio because the radio is ready to be converted for the Super Duty conversion, which we're going to go ahead and do for you to help that. I've got to finish the board. We just got new relays from a new vendor, so I guess we all get to watch and see how it turns out. But at this point, my chassis is now healthy. Okay. Now we ran out of relays, so we had to stop. Okay. There are still some things that need to happen on this. We need to put our feedback, our bias resistor. So over here, there's a little bitty resistor goes in there. You see them in most amplifiers coming off the final going to ground. And you'll notice that mine aren't stamped like transistors. We drill a big hole and make islands. You know, we've kind of stolen a couple of different methods. I'm a thief. But when I steal something, I make it better before I use it. Ask anybody I ever stole from. I'll tell you. All right, let's get our bias resistor in. When these amps stop working, and you open them up and you see this resistor is smoked, 9 times out of 10 you've blown your final. 10 times out of 10 actually, if that's blowing your finals blown. Once again, roll and flow your solder. Now you'll notice we really got to do that on this guy because we didn't use the island on this side. Okay. I'm still playing with little tiny configuration changes as I build them. You know, we've had them a lot thinner than this. We've had them as thin as 1.5 inches wide, 4 inches long. They've always been 4 inches long. The difference with my amp and everything else you see, and I've proven on a watt meter on PEP, it'll give you an extra 5 to 15%. And what we call it is direct injection. On these boards, you'll notice when I'm done, there's always 2 relays. One relay is sitting dead on top of the input transformer, right to that cap. The relay for the output is on the other side, straight to the freaking output of the transformer, into the relay. There are no links of anything like a single relay amp where it comes to the amp through a cable, goes, or it comes to the relay through a cable, goes to the relay, goes to the cable, goes alongside the amp, finally makes it to the tuned circuit where it's going. We don't play all that. It comes in the antenna jack, straight to the input relay and fired directly into the amplifier. And, well, how do you receive then? Well, that's what we came up with an idea called travelers. We're still using single pole double throw switches. You have to, because when you go to receive, it's got to pass through. So we put a traveler in between both relays, and the traveler gives you your receive. It gives you your receive capability. The travelers also supply each relay with the voltage it needs to keep. Vice. So basically what we did was we took a double pole, double throw relay, and we split the relay in half and just eliminated some distance and some opportunity for parasitic infection, whatever. Length can be your friend, and length can kill you. What I've learned on these little bitty boards that we're building is that the tighter I can keep them, the more stable they become. I don't know if it's because the device has less opportunity for spurious emissions or parasitic emissions. It's, all the components literally are so close together that when this is done, it becomes a single device. And really all electronic devices do, but this one really does. So now you notice a custom fitting all these wires for all these circuits. Gravity affects your solder. Get a bench vise. There's times it comes in handy, like right now. All right. That's all the major stuff. Relay that we're going to have to figure out how it works before we install them, because it's a new brand and I don't believe that I have used one of these before. So I'm going to guess and say that this is coil, this is common, and this is up and down. And in order to do that, I'm going to need 12 volts. And we're going to have to cheat because we got a lot of cables that have been moved here, moved there, and lost a couple. And every time you take one of these out, of course, they wrap around 15 others. All right. That's not the cable. That's not the... There's a coil. Okay. So that's a coil. If you listen, click. Now, first thing you do is find out which one is at rest. Okay. At rest is your receive traveler pin. So I'm going to guess these are the coil, that this is our toggle, and these are our options. I'm wrong. Or I should turn my meter on. That's proven to be effective. Okay. So if this is the toggle, there's our at rest. Nothing. Now, if we take this, put it on there, and hold that there. So engage. These two are at rest. Wait a minute. So these two are at rest. Well, now you have power this one, so it should be powering up. Problem is, you gotta make sure you got it powered up. This is a shitty way to do it. Yeah. Okay. So now, basically, at rest is receive position. Engaged is transmit or on. This is our on pin. This is our rest pin. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to install it on the input side. Now you notice I left these leads hanging. We're going to glue this relay in right here. Okay. We'll lay this pin right over there. Done. Comes out of the relay and fires directly into the tuned transformer. Gorilla Glue is the glue of choice at 409 radios. Now what happens is, this being a mirror image on this side, it works the same way. Our on pin ends up facing our circuit. And what do you know? Right there's our cap. So I'll glue this one down on this side. And that's what the board actually looks like for the most part when it's done. Here's a full board. Okay. Everything is made. I mean, we don't make the parts. I mean, the board is cut here. The holes are drilled here. I've actually got a jig for testing these, but I've built so many of them that I'm going to take a chance and throw this thing in and see if it's going to work. We'll see. See how cocky I am. See how cocky I am. All right, so now my input's solid from the relay. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is, and let's do this side. This is the output from the output transformer. It's going straight into the relay. No room for impedance, no room for parasitics. Okay. Now, our inputs are good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make some travelers. Okay. They use the term travelers in AC a lot when they're putting in 3-position switch. The 2 wires that go back and forth are traditionally known as your travelers, and that's what makes the lights work back and forth. So now what we're going to do is we're going to connect this wire so that when this thing is in receive mode, the antenna is still hooked to the radio through the relays. But it doesn't matter because all you're doing is receiving. So this is a little extra long piece of wire I'm putting in here. The guy asked me, he said, "You're putting that piece of wire in there, you're calling that a traveler?" I said, "Yeah, but nothing's being transmitted through that traveler. The only thing that's happening is it's completing that circuit so that you can hear." So this will be our receive traveler side. So come up, over, diagonally to the other traveler. Now once the mini coaxes are hooked up and you're not keyed, you got receive. You're joining the relays. You're still using a double pole, double throw relay. What you've done is changed its real estate location and how effectively it fires that signal into what we're playing with here. Electricity takes the shortest path. That's electronics 101. So why wouldn't you, if you could, shorten that path? Okay, there's our receive traveler. Now, we get positive and a negative, and we're going to build a keying circuit for it. Okay, so since this is the output side and I know this rail is going to be hot, I'm going to make this my positive traveler. Okay. Oh, my glue just broke. Let's put a little more glue on there. Let's find out last. We're going to make this our positive voltage traveler. Because it's closest to the voltage rail over. Now, in order to make these relays clap at the exact same time, what we've done is the hot and the ground, the hot goes to one relay, but the keying circuit fires the ground from the other side of the other relay. So from both sides of that relay, so both sides of them relay coils, it's getting its reference for clamp. Now on this side, it's just a connection. It's just a hot connection. But what's going to happen is now we got to put the negative traveler, right? Now these, when we're done, we'll tie these up above the circuit. That's all we do with those. It's no big deal. It's not very pretty right now, but we'll find a better solution later. Until somebody can make a 2290 do what this one's doing and not blow up, I don't get no fuck. All right. Now, this is our negative voltage traveler. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this pin just a little bit so that when I resolder it, because I got to solder the keying circuit to it, that wire won't jump off. And this guy comes over here. And this becomes the single connection on the opposite side. So the hot comes in here, energizes this coil, goes through, energizes this coil. But the negative comes in here, energizes this coil. So it's balanced. They clap at the same time, and it works very well. Now, when we were powering them both from the same side, we had timing issues, which is what made me do that. Not anything that the mere mortal would notice, but I noticed it, and that was enough. All right, boys and girls, that's it with that. And watch it jump off, you bastard. Turn the iron down. Okay. Now, what you want to do is kind of train these where they're staying away from each other on the relay. Like so. Okay. So now what we have is a ground and an input on each relay. Okay. What we have here is our hot, also the hot output for our standby switch. And the ground comes in over here on the other side. We're going to give it to it right here in this corner. So there's that guy. So now we're going to put this guy in. But the first thing we got to do is mount it. So that's kind of a little bit of a trick in and of itself. We have screws that we use, and this heat sink is rather thick to just drive our self tappers in. So we've had to, where am I doing this? So we've had to go to like a 2-step process to, anybody else will say, well, why don't you just drill a hole in a nut and a bolt? Well, because a nut and a bolt costs more than just a damn screw. That's why. And nuts and bolts heat up, get cold, expand, contract, get tore up. So what we do is we find a place in the heat sink and the amp where I can drill all the way through. This one we're going to start here. In the heat sink, yeah. Oh, wow, that sucks. We just broke a drill bit. Live and in color on national TV. Well, that sucks because I need another 3/32 drill bit. Okay, boys and girls, that puts a damper in our parade, don't it? Wow. I wonder why I did that. It's a DeWalt bit, too. It's a good bit. Now we gotta go scavenge bits. That may be the end of this video. We may have to go get a set of drill bits. Or we can finish with these. There'll be a part 3. Let me see. So the old drill bit sets. Let's see what we've got to play with. Probably nothing I want to try to use live. 3/32. However, I believe I'm going to try something. Close view. Pretty freaking close. Matter of fact, that's the right drill bit. Good. Well, we broke one. Let's try and break this one. Surprises me. That's a DeWalt bit. This drill's dying too. That don't help. You know what we're using? Different drill. Ow. Okay. Well, you can't even see what's going on anymore. Here. We're drilling the holes in the amplifier to mount it to the counter. Now, some guys are asking why I'm mounting it to that counter. Well, the easy answer is it's an easy place to put the amp. However, this amplifier runs so cool. Now, I've got to be careful right here because I got to drill right next to this transformer. But the short answer is it runs cool enough that I can get away with putting it there. Okay. Now, we have these 2 holes drilled, right? When we were looking for self-tapping screws, we found some that we thought fit the bill. However, when we used their recommended bore size, we found out they wouldn't go all the way through this aluminum. They kept getting stuck. So what we do is these boards are getting mounted from the bottom, which means the screws are going to come from this way. So the next size up, and we're going to open up half of this, okay? So the screw doesn't have as much aluminum to self-thread through, okay? For every solution, for every problem, there's a solution. Now, what you do got to do, though, is be careful not to drill all the way through. You've got to leave some meat for the screw to hold the amp down. Hey, give me a second here, guys. See, now what I've done is it's a 2-step deal. And I ain't got my glasses on because I got to be careful. You got to be careful how far you go. If you go too far, that looks pretty good. If you go too far, you ain't got enough meat for the screw to grab. You got to drill another hole. So what I do is I hold it upside down and I watch how close the bit's coming through the hole. I'm used to when I see a certain amount of the drill bit head like that. I know I'm there. Now, we're going to take this amp, snap the top off this counter. Doing the two of these line up without having to drill a hole. It don't matter if these are crooked when you put them on here or diagonal, whatever, as long as they're on here and they're tied down. There. We have a winner chicken dinner. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to take a screw, through there. Okay, we had another freaking deal. All right. And then, in you go. Let's see if I roll it right. Now, this does a couple things. I mean, A, it secures the amplifier, obviously. But B, it also bonds the grounds of the amplifier with the grounds of the 2000. I think I'm going to have to drill this one a little bit farther. It's already catching. Or maybe not. Yeah, I got to drill that one a little farther. See, they go in so far and they get stuck. Crap. I'm going to have to drill another hole. Little tiny screw. Little tiny hole. Little tiny amplifier. Put it all together with. All right, I'm standing up. I'm an old man with bad hips, so I need to sit down. There we go. Oh, yeah, use this against something. One side. Switch this around till we see a screw on the other side. Somewhere. Almost. I think that'll work. I think that'll work if I do what I just did on the other one. It needs all a little persuasion. Now, another reason for putting this board in this location is it's sitting on the side of the radio that's pretty much isolated. It's power supply. It's not, we've got a couple that I built where I hung them right off the top of that screen and the top of the lid. We found out that this ends up being the best solution right there. There's the whole Super Duty board on top of the counter, right? So that part's done. It's mounted. All we got left to do is hook it up. That's where life gets fun. Yes, it's telling me to say something. How's this? Here, there's something for you guys. I'm getting cross-eyed. All right. Now we got a busted bit, lots of shrapnel to tear up a nice looking face. Let's clean the bench. This is out of here. Let's get us a new pad. A lot of guys ask me, said, why you use those? My wife found these at Walmart. I'll tell you what, it saves you guys' radios. Change them when they get goofy. It's over with. Now, we have our healthy 2000 done. That's caught on an unhealthy 2000. Here's our healthy 2000. Now, all right, you guys get back up in here. All right. So now what you're going to see is a lot of flipping and flopping. Here's our counter module. This is the lid for our counter module. We've mounted the amp on here. It's not going anywhere. Now, I got to diagnose which side it is. This is my input side. This is my output side. So we're going to take this. Now that we know what's what. And we're just going to snap it back to the counter. Works like a charm. The lid goes right on. It's not interfering with nothing. We'll put some zip ties on this before it's over. So now the fun begins. We do not run this board off this power supply. When you get a Super Duty conversion and you don't have a power supply of your own that's 10 amps or better, we take your speaker and make a Super Duty speaker. And it ends up being a Cobra 2000 speaker with a DC plug that comes back that you plug into the back of this unit, which is then isolated from the radio. It only runs the amp. So this is what we're going to do. Anybody who's ever tried to put an amplifier inside a Cobra 2000 will tell you all kinds of strange things happen. You go to shut it off, it don't shut off. Go turn it on, it won't turn on. You key the microphone and watch the frequency display just lose its mind. Now that amp is in, I can flip this thing over and do whatever I want. So now what we're going to do is get it ready for the Super Duty converter. First thing, modify the okay. This is the back of our DC plug. Okay. Now, really, all we're going to do is we're going to leave these caps on here. All right. These guys that are feeding back to the radio when you put it in DC, coming up. Okay. Because this radio itself, that was there as a convenience. I mean, maybe back in the 70s, if you had a Cadillac DeVille or something, you could put one of these on your seat. But my vet won't handle one. Oh, wow. Just switch everything in this radio is J-Whopper. Are you kidding me? Tell you what, George, this one's a winner. I mean, this one's a real winner. I'm going to have to change that switch. Somehow the damn AC/DC switch just come apart. Live and in color. No, that thing's J-Whopper. Damn it, I got to take that whole switch out. You know what? We're not even going to be using it, so let's just do this. We don't lose it. I'll explain it to him. So when this is on these two are connected. These three are connected on AC. And ground don't make no, never mind for nothing because this is a weird ground system. So, George, I'm not going to bother putting another one in here because you don't use it. That one and that one go together. And that one go together. All three of those go together. So, at least I hope that's what it is. I'll find out. Normally, you would just take those two little chokes out and you're done. It's isolated. This one wants to give me issues. What else was there? Was it just those two? I guess so. Okay. Tin them. I could go dig another switch out of a parts unit, but this radio's had so much, I mean, so much done to it that it's even at this point for me as an accomplishment. Because when he sent it to me, I almost tried to buy it from him just to throw it in my parts file. But George is like me. He's actually this gentleman. I hope you don't mind me talking about too much. One of my best customers. He's actually a doctor, but he has an electronics background, and he's a really cool guy to talk to. Um, he knows his stuff. He knows what he wants, and he knows who to go to get it. Like, he is a ham guy. I don't work on his ham radios. He got a Kenwood guy for that. I don't blame him. I got a Kenwood guy for mine. Um, Everybody should pretty much try to stay in their arena. Okay, comes to this stuff, because man, did I just do that without shrink wrap? That was dumb. Electrical tape is all right, guys, but I've learned that shrink wrap is 150% better, and it's cheaper. Buy it by the roll. Oh, you got to go in there. That's right. Duh. Which means I'm gonna need a bigger piece of shrink wrap. I don't know if I got it. I'm gonna have to tape this whether I want to or not. One more place to look. Hold on. No, you guys are getting tape. However, you're getting freaking good tape, not that orange bull stuff that was in here. How in the hell did we all do it? Oh, this is gonna be a bitch. Just love it when shit comes apart. Oh, give me a piece of that blue. Where's that blue? Where's that blue? There's a piece. Let's do it like this. My doing? I'm gonna start out with tape. I'm getting tired, guys. We've been on this radio for a long time tonight. There's that one. That one won't reach that one, but these two will reach each other. So okay. Basically, we're eliminating the AC/DC switch because it decided to eliminate itself basically by falling out. So let's see that right there. That one. I'm gonna bring this one. Let's give it a little bit of leash. Tin it. don't understand why they just fell out. Probably why the meters were stuck in the frequency counter didn't work and all the other abuse it had into it. This radio was not loved, I can tell you that. But now, we'll be fine. First thing I'm going to do is make sure it works. Hey! Alright, so the radio power is in and isolated. Our board is mounted. Let me wrap this up. One of those places where you gotta have little monkey hands. I gotta get more shrink wrap. This would have been a lot nicer with shrink wrap. All right. Radio power is reestablished. So we got that button out of the way. It's fucking off. It's gone. Keep those wires right there where they can't touch nothing. Now, what we have left to deal with is power plug. Now, the power plug's been isolated. Okay. Power plugs are isolated. So now what we're going to do is we're clean it up a little bit. Get it ready to do some heavy duty work. We want to leave these grounds intact. We want to leave these caps intact. We make sure nothing else touches nothing else. And then, because these are going to be some pretty heavy duty wires going on here, we want to add some fresh solder to these. So it takes the new cable. All right, nice. Now, there's that. That's that. Now, we got to disconnect the antenna jack. We're going to break that connection. So the feed, the 2000 totally comes out. We got to ramp up the heat now. We're playing with the big stuff. Cut this resistor out. Okay. Now, on this one, it's coming straight from here, which is fine. I remember where those go. So now we're going to start putting our inputs and outputs on. Okay. Get all this other shit out of here we don't need. And here we go. Amplifier back. All right. Next, RG213. Or RG316. That is all tangled up. I made a mistake about a 2-foot roller on the spooled itself. Welcome to the world. 409 radios. There's freaking end. Where's the goddamn end of this thing? There we go. All right, now we'll start the input. Here's our input. When you strip this kind of coax, this is what you do. Get rid of the jacket first. Solder this braid, just tin it. Okay. tin this braid. And let it cool for a second. Then you go down to like your third one on your red crimpers, red cutters, second or third one. Bite, turn it around, give it a bite, off that comes. Now, nice and neat. What I am missing are blades. I hate missing blades. Where's my actual set? All right. Once you've got that part done, a nice sharp blade to get to your semiconductor. This is what we do. Let's go around it. So, put off. Bam, done. Now, first things first, tin them. So, tin this one. I know this one's going to go here as my input. Put this here. Okay. Done. Then we're going to run this down to the ground just like that. The landing. Add it to the landing. Just like that. There's our input. Now input's going to come down like this. Round. Round this transformer. Round to this hole. And over to about here. So I'm going to say let's just cut it off here. Now, all these go down through these ground-mounted holes. I know this was my input. In you go. I'm going to flip it over now. Flip it over. Grab our input wire. Here we go. Now, we're going to check our training. Make sure it stayed where we left it. And it did. Now, we can... Wow, this thing's kind of... Wow. There it goes. Okay. So now, let's get back to our input. Our input comes down. We're going to train it around all this stuff. And we're going to run it to the bottom side of the chassis. Try to keep it from poking out of the top. Anytime we can loop it under something, you should. RG316 is great to work with. You know how to work with it. So now we're going to bring it here. And I don't know if you guys remember, right there's our output. Here's our ground. So I need to make this about this much longer. Cut this one. Once again, clip, clip, strip. Just tin that jacket, make it solid. That's all you're doing. You're corrugating. But you gotta let it dry because if you do it when it's still wet, you gotta let it get harder. If you do it when it's still wet, it won't work. Everyone down. A small bite there. A small bite there. Off you come. Where's our X-Acto? Lost my X-Acto already. Are you kidding me? I lose more stuff. You guys are gonna laugh at me losing shit if you watch my videos. You're just gonna laugh. Because I do. And they ain't even funny. Okay. I don't know if this is the one I had, but it is one. It'll work. So once again, round it, pull it. Now, tin your center conductor. When you're doing the input, put the hot on first. Get it in that island, get it flowed real good, and get it in there. Make sure it's sweet. Then loop it like so. But before you do that, put a little dab of solder on the tab that already exists so that you've got something to stick to. Comes up there. Just like that. Our input's wired. Okay. Now, output. The same routine. I got to untangle all this God blessed wire. Okay. Output. Once again, start over. Strip your stuff. And the radio's got to go this way. Turn this thing around and work on it. It's in there in a happy place. Same routine. Boom, boom, boom. Get off. I'll go ahead and set this in here for now. And tin our shield. Let it cool off. Third notch down. Clip. Clip. Off you come. Get our X-Acto. That one's going to be a pain in the ass. That came. Okay. Tin your relay on your input. This is actually your output. Here's your output pin. Done. The bottom's going to come down to an island right there. That, my friends, is how you install RG316. Now, this one's going to come down, go around, the same hole, all the way down to the antenna jack. So he's going to take it about there. We're done with the RG316. So, we'll take it, same hole, ground it through. Oh, that one's being stubborn. Okay. It on the top, train it on the top, I mean, and all down. Because if somebody opens this up 20 years from now, you don't want wires all standing all over the place. You want everything now nice and neat. It's supposed to be. This radio's got to outlive me and its owner. Okay, now this is coming over to the antenna jack. So once again, we keep it down, keep it low. But we do not let it run right next to the input, or as little as possible. It's going to have to happen. There's no way to get around it. But I bring it up here, and then I go underneath all these guys. Send it through here. And that's usually where I grab needle nose. Out. All right, now this one's a little more difficult, a little bit, not bad. No, tin it, make it hard, cool it off. Now, number 3. Once, twice, ooh, no. See, now when that happens, you got to do it again. Hope I got enough, yeah. Obviously, the last. Oh, I'm done it wrong. There we go. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to take a little bitty piece of this white Teflon wire, just a little bit short, nabby piece. We're actually going to hook it to that little gig of the shield right there. And I'm going to take it here. We're going to wrap it like that. Solder it. And there you go. I'll put, oh, you mother. And wait till it solidifies. Bam, output's done. Now, nothing's hanging, nothing's drooping. These are going to have to be trained before it's over. We've got our input and output there. At this point, I can test the amp. So let's just do that. No, I don't have power to it yet. I need power. Power, and I need it fast. So let's make some power. All right. Power. Here's our output. Positive goes to the output transformer. So what we're going to do is thread right there. Tin it. All right. Now, you got to be able to see the amp. Right here, our output transformer. Here's our hot lead. Right there. Now, these need to be solid. They need to be flowed. They need to be good. If these aren't no good, the rest of it's junk. Now, the hot lead goes straight to the landing for the transformer. Ground just goes back here on one of the other ground islands that's already living there. And that'll supply the whole board is what it needs as far as ground reference. But you don't put them dead right next to each other. Electricity takes the shortest path, and we want to energize the entire board. Okay. I like to use the one right on the transistor. One, the negative lead, because that's going right into the amplifier component, and it's an important connection. So there. There's our power. Now, just like everything else, power is going to get routed. Going to come down. Now, keep in mind, I never have to service this counter again. Everything I'm doing right now is not an issue. I'll show you. The power we run to the next ground on the next side. A little more room. And this camera really needs to stay where I put it. All right. Who is it? Marshall, I'm going to have to call you back because right now I'm live on Facebook. Go to Facebook. All right, bye. Got my buddies calling. All right, so now we're bringing our hot in, and I told you that what we ended up doing was isolating that plug, right? So that's what we did. Now, this is going to come in and go right to the plug. The rest of the radio don't see this. An external power supply, be it a Super Duty supply that we build into your speaker or one of your own personal supplies, put one of these plugs on it, plug it in, that's power for your Super Duty. It does not affect the 2000 radio in any way. The 2000 is an enigma. Guys over the years have gone to try to stick boards like this in here, found out you couldn't turn the damn thing on, you couldn't turn the damn thing off. A counter would go nuts, and then everybody figured out that this radio is not switched with the positive lead. This radio is actually switched with the negative lead because of the SCR that's in the counter, because when you have it shut off, that SCR turns the clock on. But when you turn the radio on, it's actually your frequency display that is turning your radio on. And it's doing it with the negative side of the power supply. It's very weird. So you have to know what you can and cannot mix. There, now our power's in. Now at this point, I'm just going to hot rod the hot side to the relays, and I'm going to key them manually. Now, like I say, what do you mean you're going to key it manually? I'm going to key it manually. What does the keying circuit do? Throws a negative pulse to the relay. So the relay will clamp. And the way you check your relays in your amplifier is you pull that keying circuit loose, and that pin you run straight to ground. If the relay clicks, you got a bad keying circuit. So this is my negative. No, this is my negative. So here's my negative charge. Okay. So when I key it now, this basically becomes my button. I'll just key it to the ground. It'll engage the relays. Okay. And then we're going to run a hot lead over to the other side to energize that side of the circuit and keep it balanced. So I need hot to be that one. I need this. Okay. Just put this right down here on the hot lead. Then we're going to take it over and just fire it right into the relay. So the relay's hot all the time right now. This is a test run. This is not how it's going to live. Eventually, where I'm tapping in right now, we'll go to the PA switch, which will in turn turn into the standby switch for the Super Duty module. Okay, we're hot now. Now, at this point, I should be able to turn the radio on. I have normal radio. I'm not going to plug the Super Duty module in yet. Okay. Radio on. We got an antenna. Might as well check out receive while we're at it. Ain't gonna be much. Plug the mic into it. Get it on normal channels. 19. Oh, that's fun. Hold on. Oh, there's something out here now. Why do I not have receipt? Oh, that's why. It's on PA. Let's see what happens. All right, first we're going to make sure that this thing's passing audio as it lives. So, first thing we're going to do is make sure it's fast. And let's go to the scope. We go to scope, the kit, get a little carrier, so we turn it up. And we can modulate that carrier and make it do its thing. Okay. So the RF is passing through our board. There is no problem there. So now, once this radio is in service, what's going to happen is from your power supply or our Super Duty power supply speaker, this comes over, plugs into the back of the unit. It's like this. Now, Super Duty unit, it should be active. Now, if I close this, we should hear a click. Like that. So, see what happens. First, let me get it. See what happens. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. You have to look at the watt meter upside down for this one. That's all the way to the left is nothing. This is regular radio power right here. You're seeing about 18 watts, right? You like that? This is a 100 watt slug. Now watch. I'm going to unkey and rekey with my module engaged. Now watch this. Audio. That's 100 watts of swing right out of the back of a 2000. Hello, audio 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. I'd say that's pretty freaking cool. Now, cool thing is, we've also, because we put our dead key, our variable dead key in, it's made it. Now I gotta take the camera off to show you this, right? Because it's just too cool. So now, you better come off here, you monster. Pliers. I really spent more money on my test equipment than I have my video. All right. Coaxial dynamics peak reading watt meter. It does have a peaker and RMS switch on it, right? Mine has the scale. This is my peak. This is my peak. That's RMS. In the middle is 100 watt scale, and then mine has a pre-scaler, which turns this 100 into either a 250 or a 500. So I don't have to buy as many slugs. With this switch in the middle is 100. The switch down is RMS power. Okay. So let's look at what this radio is doing in RMS power. First thing we're going to do is audio. From 0 to about 5 with it all the way down. Now I'm going to bring it up to at least a 2 watt dead key. Try to. There we go. Audio. Now, I have to find a way to set this. down where you can see it. You see it now. Regular radio power, audio, right? Once he turns the Super Duty board on, audio. It all becomes, now that's RMS power. Let's go peak power. Peak power, board off, audio. I can do that, audio. 12 watts from a no watt dead key. But now let's turn the mic gain all the way down. And with the board on, see what we can do with our dead key. The board is on. Try it again. Now there's a 20 watt dead key. There's a 40 watt dead key. So we can bring this board all the way down. Because the board's on right now. A 1 watt dead key, right? Now, watch what happens. Well, let's turn the mic gain up. Now watch what happens. Audio. That's over 100 watts from a 1 watt dead key. Right? Now, at this point, this radio has earned its badge. So, we're going to put this back up here. Assuming I didn't lose my screw. There. So now, 100 watts of RMS. Let's check. We never did check. Or 100 watts of peak. Let's check the RMS. We never did. Hi, guys. Get some stuff out of the way. We're going to look at it upside down. RMS power. Well, I got to engage it. 48 watts of RMS power out of the back of a Cobra 2000 at 14.2 volts, running on a single 2SC2290 that never runs so hot that I can't mount it straight to the top of the frequency display. Now, once these radios reach this level in life, we get out our little machine and it gets its stripes. This radio is now officially a 409 Super Duty 2. So, these are Super Duty 2 badges. And we print we do most everything for these radios right here. You got a lot of people don't realize that. Now it's still backing off, which is a pain in the ass. I'm not sure one of these exactos. I get lucky. Like I said, a pain in the butt to get script, but once you get it off, they're really nice little badges. I really like them. And I've said it before. Now we're going to have to go ahead and do the keying circuit for this, and I'll do that next, but not on here. All the major components are in. The unit works where the unit was dead. The unit is on frequency, which, looking at how badly damaged this board was, I'm amazed. So at this point, this is when I tilt this up for this. There we are. See what we tilt this up on. Stand up. There we go. See, we'll stand up on that. So it is officially earned this little guy. If you don't have this on your radio, it means you got an average Joe. But if you got this on your radio, Right there, baby. That's the 2000 to have. Oops, while I drop my stuff. 409 Super Duty 2, baby. This one's official. Couple more steps and it's done. Hope you guys learned something. And if you didn't learn something, I hope you enjoyed watching me fumble and fumble and make chicken salad out of chicken shit, which is what we usually do around here. Check us out at the website, www.409radios.com, or you can check out our other videos. If you go to the website, check out the whole site. You'll be surprised what we do to a lot of radios. We do this conversion on 142s, Realistics, Cobra 1000s, Cobra Galaxy Saturns, Galaxy 2980s. I can do this conversion on almost any radio that doesn't have an amp built in. Right now, this Cobra 2000, I promise you, is going to walk the dog with any Galaxy that's right out of the factory in their normal, and they're beasts. I'll give it to them. I love Galaxy. I hate to say that they've turned into a pile of garbage, but they have. That's why I'm, juicing up old 2000s. Now, the question that there's two reasons why we do this, okay? Yeah, guys like Ranger and Galaxy and all these guys come out with these new 40, 60 watts of swing, whatever, PEP. Okay, that's fine. Then you guys with your 2000s are like getting depressed because I'm getting outdated. She's getting way time for a final look. Let me tell you something. There's a simple solution to your problem. And it ain't even me. Find somebody like me. But what this board does, by the time this board is done and installed, what you guys don't realize is the radio is now no longer running at full power. The radio is only making enough power to make that board lose its mind. Okay? Prolonging the life of your unit. I mean, that's the bottom line. We're trying to keep this stuff alive, and we can't do that if people don't start, learning what it was, because you got to know what it was before you can make it what you want it to be. So, the reason why we did this was, yes, to make a 2000 spectacular again. Back when it was made, it was the most spectacular radio on the market, no doubt. Today's technology, you couldn't have a 2-inch by 4-inch board give you 110, 120 watts of PEP and run so cool that you could put it right on the counter that's sitting there monitoring the radio. You can with this one. This board is guaranteed for as long as the original purchaser of it owns it. Remember, if you don't have this badge on your radio and that board sitting there doing its thing, you ain't got shit, but you got potential. So if you like what you see, find me or somebody like me. And you ain't got to come to me, but be careful, guys. I've been doing this for 30 years. And since I've came back in the last 2 years, I've been sorely disappointed in the technical skill level that I've seen coming into some of these radios. I've taken Cobra 2000s, put it on the bench, looked inside it, reached over and grabbed a hammer and just hit the board. And my wife would lose her mind. Because these guys are raping them. Stop raping them. Look, if you go in here and you don't know what's going on, you got a problem, you look around, if it ain't simple, put the lids on it and get it somewhere. We cannot just run down to the Cobra 2000 store anymore and buy a radio. You know what I mean? When these radios are done, these are special. And I wanted this one to be just like the last one I made for this guy. He's got his badge now. Look at that. Oh, George, you're on there. Or Steve Thompson. If I see you after I'm done, give me a call. Yeah, I mean, it's all about prolonging the life of the equipment, guys. These boards are loud. You can now use this thing as a small driver if you want to. You can use it as a nice 100-watt PEP radio if you want to. It's more versatile. It's up to date. And it's got balls again. The audio's there and the power's there now. So, you know what? You guys that are tired of your 2000s, you think they're done? Call me. Just call me. Even if you don't want to fix it, call me. because I'm bringing them all back to life, and I'm bringing them back to life with an attitude that make the devil himself sit back and think about what's going on. So, you guys have a good day. Stay safe. I hope you enjoy what you saw, even though I'm a terrible cameraman. God bless. 7 threes. We'll see you when we see you.